What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about my current process of separating from the military. I am in the Air Force right now, served for 5 years. Currently out processing and beginning the transition for separating, right? And it is daunting and full of tasks. I know a lot of people who are in this process of getting out of the military and transitioning, to become a veteran and moving on to a different career and or going to school. I can relate, and I can see how this can be a pretty stressful time, and I totally get it. And hopefully in this video, I'm gonna be able to share what I'm doing and how I'm preparing, and maybe you can go and take this and run with it, and possibly it will help you in your journey of moving on to a different path, a different life after the military. So first thing, of course, yes, I've done 5 years in the Air Force. If you watched one of my old videos, I was actually talking about which branch was probably the best one to join. It's kind of cringy, but if you want to go watch it, you can go watch it. But I ended up joining the Air Force, right? And so it's been a little over 5 years now, and it's been great. But it is time for me to do something else, and I've kind of had this plan for a long time, and which I know a lot of you, who are currently transitioning, or perhaps you are, on the brink of joining, or you just started your Air Force career or your military career, and you have an idea of what you want to do in the next 5 to 10 years, right? And I was there too, and I totally get it, and my plans never really changed, so I get it. There's a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. Some people are very confident in this transition, and that's great too. But this is really for people who are exploring options, and also, as well as trying to ease the burden of this transition, right? So that being said, yes, 5 years in the Air Force. I'm on my last 12 months of my contract, and I'll be separating in January of 2023. And in 5 months, I'll be going on the Skill Bridge program, in which I can do another video on that as well. But really, ever since my 5-year mark hit, which was in January 31st of 2022, I really buckled down on the transition process. But let's rewind a couple years back. Let's go back to 2019. So in 2019, I realized I really wanted to move on and do something else career-wise, and and I wanted to pursue my higher education. So that's what I did. I went to school, and I'll connect all the dots here. But I decided to go to school and pursue a degree in finance. At the time, it was more so business administration, but over time, it transitioned to finance, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this pretty much was going to give me an idea or more leverage as far as moving forward and separating from the Air Force. So I started my education at Georgia Military College. It's a local community college here in Georgia, and I'm pleased to announce that I'm finally, finishing my associate's degree next month, and I'm stoked for that. In the military, you will know that it takes a lot of work to kind of do school and work at the same time. So I took 2 classes every term, and that really at least got me closer and closer to my goals, right? And so the way in 2019, when I decided to go to school, I also had to figure out what I was going to do as well, right? The scary part about getting out of the military is figuring out what you're gonna do. You know, people have to make money, people need jobs, veterans especially, right? You're getting out of the military, something, you know, you may have been doing this for 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 plus years, right? And it is very daunting do that transition because you're so used to the lifestyle and the life of being in the military. Regardless of what branch you are, you're adapted and accustomed to that culture. So I started preparing for that transition 3 years ago now. And so what I looked at was, what was my plan? What did I want to do? What did I want to accomplish, right? And where did I want to live? That was another one. And as well as how could I get myself closer to those goals, right? So the first thing was, what did I want to do? So getting out of the military, I knew I wanted to get into something finance related. So the first thing I did was think about, the first thing I did was did more research on different career fields in the finance realm. I currently work as a 6F on finance in the Air Force. So I figured I'd carry over those, some of those skills and experience into the civilian sector. So I went online to find other career fields that could possibly match up or be similar, right? Just to get my foot in the door. The next thing I did after I started researching different career fields was talk to different people who are actually in the private sector finance realm, right? So I started talking to people who worked financial planning, financial advising. I even talked to accountants. I talked to all types of people who are in that finance accounting realm, right? And the one person I reached out to that I found to be enlightening or to teach me a lot was one of my aunts, who was actually a financial planner. And she kind of gave me a really good in-depth and understanding of what I could be looking at, and different routes I can go, and and it kind of opened up another door to options. And kind of where I want to go with that is like the next is, you want to find a mentor, or you want to find somebody who's doing something that you want to do already, right? If they're doing it already, you kind of want to ease the burden and the path to get to that result. If you already know somebody, or you can find somebody that can teach you or talk to you at least about what it is that they do, and possibly if they can teach you as well, it will make your life a lot more easy, because you can actually go down this path without hitting many bumps at all, right? So when I spoke to her, she told me about financial planning. So then I said, okay, you know what? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Good thing that I started my degree in finance. So now I needed to know what I wanted to earn my bachelor's in, right? And so I decided financial services. Right now I'm waiting on approvals for admissions from several schools right now. So I'm waiting on that. But that kind of eased the burden. So once I knew I had my goal and I knew what I wanted to do, now it was time for preparation, right? You should be saving money. You should have some investments when joining the military. I didn't, I was the typical new airman, right? I barely saved any money. I barely put anything into investments. The first couple years in the Air Force, I didn't put anything in investments. It was really just paycheck to paycheck and just, saving money here and there as much as I could, right? And as you know, you don't make as much money as some people may think when you first join the military, especially as an enlisted member, right? So that's what I did for the first couple years. And then once I made this goal, I made it pretty much a mission of myself to put money away as much as I could, right? Just pile it away to make sure that, I didn't have to worry about that financial burden getting out of the military. So I've been doing that for the last, I want to say 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Just putting away money, right? The first year or so, it wasn't that much. It was like maybe 10-15% of my take-home pay every month that I was putting away in savings. Wasn't putting anything in investments, which was a bad idea. I should have been putting things in investments at the time. And then the second year is when I really started getting more serious, and I started talking to more people in that career field, and I started getting more of an understanding of what to kind of expect, and also get a feel of these people in these fields, right? And so that I can actually have a conversation, and at least have some sort of grounds to have a conversation with these people, so that I'm not completely just kind of going into the situation blind, right? So I reached out to more people, tried to find more mentors. Eventually I did, and they taught me a lot. And I think that's one of the best things that you can do if you're deciding to transition out of the military, is to find people that you want to learn from, people that are doing the jobs that you want to do, and try to learn as much as possible. And do it for, and possibly return any type of value to them that they're giving to you, right? So, because you never know the possibilities of opportunities that can come your way when you speak to these people and when you meet these people, right? You always want to come at it as you are providing a not a substantial amount, but you're providing value, right? And obviously, the more value you're be able to provide, there's a higher likelihood, and this is not guaranteed or certain, but there's a higher likelihood of you gaining an opportunity from that event of you giving, right? So that was the first thing I did. I tried to make sure that, I'm not leading into this, and I'm not leading to this path blind. I'm actually kind of know what I'm doing, having a game plan, right? It's pretty elementary. Having a game plan, figuring out what it is that you're exactly going to do, right? Because some people may want to do this, like get out of the military and not do anything and live at home. I certainly didn't want to. I know a lot of you don't want to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I immediately had something going on as soon as I got out of the military. And of course, the education thing, like as I mentioned, the education thing is important, right? Because you can do this yourself right now. Go to any job search website, employment website, right? Indeed, Glassdoor. A lot of these websites don't, for specific career fields. If you're trying to make, let's say you're E4 in the military and you're making close to 50 grand a year, good luck looking for a career field on any of those websites paying 50 grand a year that don't require a higher education. It's just that simple, right? Unless you're becoming an entrepreneur or you're great at being self-employed, then that's another story, right? But if you're looking for employment and you're looking for another job, then that's pretty important, because I know a lot of people in the military who, for whatever reason, just decided, whether it's life issues or things going on in their personal life or whatever the case may be, they decide to put off school for a very long time, or they just don't do it at all. And it makes that transition really hard, especially if you're looking for another career to do after the military. Again, unless you're being self-employed or you're going to be running a business. But there's other positives to going to college too, right? Which is like the networking, meeting people. That's probably one of the biggest things. Honestly, in my opinion, it's probably the biggest thing, is being able to network with these people who are also on the same path as you, because you never know who you can meet, right? A lot of millionaires and billionaires meet their networks in around people who are like-minded. If you're in school, chances are those people that you're around, that your classmates and are pretty like-minded as well, right? And have similar goals. So it'll be a lot easier for you to network, and you never know who those people know, and so on and so forth. So, I think school is a huge upside if you can afford it. As well as the benefit of doing the military is that obviously you get tuition assistance. In the Air Force, it's different in different branches, but in the Air Force you get tuition assistance, so your school is paid for, and then of course you get your post 9/11 GI Bill or your GI Bill, Montgomery GI Bill, after your service of 4 to 6 years, right? So taking full advantage, and that's what I did. I took full advantage of the education benefits, and then I networked, and I met, and I spoke to people. And I tried not to waste as much time as I could. I tried to utilize my time and energy as best as I could outside of work, right? As well as do my best at work as well, so that, you know, there was nothing holding me back or making me look bad getting out of the military, because you never know if your future you know, employers will be contacting your leadership to just, you know, ask basic questions like, how was this guy, you know, or girl, right? It's like, just like, how were they as a worker? Did they slack? Did they do the job well, right? Were they innovative? All these things they're gonna ask. They may ask all these questions, and you don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouths prior to leaving, because that can make you look bad, and also can prevent employment, right? And so I try to do my best, and as far as the military part is concerned, as well as the transition part. So the saving money, education, and then the networking, right? Those are the three things that I made sure I did, and I'm still currently doing, right? I still talk to people. I still try to learn as much as I can to make that transition smoother, and to kind of not just start this new career without knowing anything, and also having some money so that, you know, if things don't go as well as planned, I'm not struggling to find a job right away. You know, you want at least 6 months to a year's worth of money saved, so you're not stressed out about finding a job right away if things don't work out. That's the biggest thing. The other thing, as far as the transition of getting out of the military, is the out-processing portion of getting out of the military. I know in the Air Force we have things like the out-processing as far as like TAP. So we have TAP. If you don't know, TAP is basically a sequence of workshops and seminars, I guess you can call them. Basically people talking about how to make your transition smoother, or to give you a better educated answer as far as like whether or not you want to stay in. And some people some people decide they want to get out and then go through those workshops and decide, you know what, I actually want to stay in because I didn't know this or that, right? And so that's why the military makes you makes it mandatory for you to do that, so you can have a better understanding what you're getting yourself out of or into, however you want to look at that. And so I started mine as soon as I was able to, which was about 15 months out. So about November or October, I began doing TAP workshops. I'm proud to say I'll be doing my final one, which is the capstone, which will be in March. And that'll be my final TAP workshop. And as well as I'll be roughly 4 months out from going on SkillBridge. The SkillBridge program, which I've mentioned a few times already in this video, is basically, if you don't know already, is a internship program basically, where you are still in the military, you're still getting paid as whatever rank you are, as if you were still going to work, right? You are still receiving your BAH, you're still receiving your BAS, you're still receiving your base pay. Any entitlements that you are authorized will still get paid out to you. But you're on this internship program, right? So basically what it is the DoD SkillBridge website, you go on there and you look up different jobs, different locations you want to move to, different jobs you want to do. And you find a POC that you want to contact and work with, right? And you see if they'll accept you as an intern. So that's kind of how I pitched mine. The company that I wanted to do SkillBridge with wasn't already an authorized company on the website, and I'll get into a whole video on SkillBridge in the future. But basically, it wasn't an authorized company on the website yet, and so I had to go through the hoops and steps, and I had a lot of help getting that company approved for my opportunity to be an intern over there. So I'll be doing that. for about 5 months, 6 months, and from August through the end of January, basically until my ETS or my date of separation. And then, cross my fingers, and they'll hire me. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And of course, like I said, you'll be getting paid, so you can keep putting money away in that time frame that you are doing your internship, right? So that, of course, you have more money just in case things don't work out exactly how it is. At least now you have, school. You did your school. You should be at least 2 to 3 years into your bachelor's degree by the time this happens. And as well, you have more than enough money to kind of last you for that following year, just in case things don't work out and you're looking for a job, and possibly as far as the hiring goes, people aren't hiring at the time or whatever the case may be, right? We experienced that sorry, let me scratch that. Not the C word. Let me call it the C word so this video doesn't get banned or whatever. But you saw a lot of people were either having to get laid off, or they were forced to work from home and things like that. And so if tragedies happen like that, obviously you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You want to make sure you at least have your ducks in a row, and making sure that everything's good on your end, so that if emergency does come up, you're good to go and you're fine for a little while, right? So that's basically the main hits and main parts to making your transitions as smooth as possible. And of course, just make sure, the main thing is just to make sure that you have a plan. Make sure that you have a game plan, right? Whatever that is, your game plan is gonna be different from my game plan. It's gonna be different from most people's game plans. In reality, you just want to make sure that you are in that you are in the best case scenario. You want to make sure that you're in the best case scenario possible, or you want to create the best case scenario possible for yourself in this transition, especially if you have a family. And you're looking to separate or even retire, right? Luckily, if you retire, you're going to receive a pension and receive a paycheck every month for retirement. So there's not much to worry about as far as finances go, unless you're terrible with finances, that's a whole other topic. And so this is more so for the people getting out of the military who are separating and are transitioning into a different career. So I hope this video helped. I realize I can go on a tangent about a bunch of things, and I try my best to stay off those tangents. But if it did help you, please like the video, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.